Hi, everyone. Dr. S here, and this is part three of the whys and hows of conducting awesome customer interviews. And now we're going to focus specifically on the process that you'll use and the basic resources you need, which isn't really a whole lot of stuff. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. What we need to think about is that you need to do some design related to this. It has to be that your team goes through the 3PR design process. First thing, what is your purpose? What is it that you're trying to achieve with this sets of interviews? Second, what's the process you'll use in order to make this set of interviews successful? Third is people, who's involved, and finally resources. What sort of resources do you need to be effective? And so you need to think that through as you're going through this. So let's get a little more specific. So let's talk about making it happen. The first thing you need to do is you need to clarify your purpose. And here, one of the tools that you can use are test cards. And there's another video on this, and it's put out by the test card was built by the Strategizer organization and Alex Osterwalder, who was the inventor of the whole business model canvas. So he's a pretty smart fella. And that can help clarify your purpose and what you're trying to achieve with this particular type of experiment. So going on from once you've got your purpose clarified, you want to move over to identify the candidates and figure out who you'll actually talk to. That's your second step. And then you need to set up those interviews. And there are going to be a variety of them. Remember in video 2, we talked about lots of different types of customers or experts or other people that we might talk to. And you'll want to be sure to get in touch with those folks and set things up. Now, sometimes I've found that it's easier sometimes to talk to experts and people who just know things and get referrals. The power of referrals is amazing. You can say to someone, hey, I talked to this person, they said I should talk to you, and you can help me out with this thing. Those referrals are like gold. And so moving on from there, once you've got the candidates identified and set up the interviews, you want to prepare for those interviews. You want to get your questions that fit the purpose, and you want to think about where are you in your process. If you're pre-prototype, you want to have kind of open-ended questions, searching for empathy around their experience and their problems and desires. And you want to do this, you want to keep asking those things until you believe that you have an actual real opportunity identified, which in a real opportunity is where there is a desire or a problem that this customer is trying to solve, and the current solutions are so dissatisfying that they would be willing to switch to another possibility. Then there's the second possibility that you're in the post-prototype world, and here you want to do a break and better approach. You want to ask the interviewee, hey, can I show you something? I think it relates to this problem or this desire, and we've built an offering that we think would fit with that. Would you help me? We know it's not quite right. Would you help break it apart and fix it with us and make it better? And oftentimes they'll be certainly happy to do that. Then once you've got that done, you also want to think about doing secondary research, all again in preparing for your interviews. And this is learning the stuff you should know about the customer before you actually go talk to the customer. It just makes sense to do that. Next, so that was step 3. Now you want to go and actually conduct the interviews, which is step 4. And here's a few things to think about. One is, as I've said before, I recommend 2-person teams so that one person can be asking the questions, the other person can be keeping track of are you actually getting the information that you need. They can record and take notes while the other person concentrates on actually having the conversation with the interviewee. And another thing I recommend during the interviews is just ask for their stuff. Like, do you have brochures? Do you have a website? Well, you should know about the website, but any sort of physical stuff that they have, or maybe they can give you a tour of their space or other things that they could actually show you and show you their stuff that they have at their place. Finally, once you're done conducting the interviews, of course, after you've said thank you and you sent a note to them and said really great things, you go on to step 5 and analyze and draw conclusions. Here you can use a test card. Again, you need to go back to it and let the data guide you. This is where you're trying to draw conclusions about what did we learn, what did we figure out, and what does it tell us about our hypothesis that we had going into this whole thing. And when you're done with that, you need to return to the start and refine. So that takes you all the way up through back over here and takes you back to doing it again. And because this is an iterative cycle. All right, those are the steps involved with getting good interviews done. And if you follow these, the chance of you building deep understanding and actually being able to find product market fit and ultimately being able to dial in your business model goes way up. All right, if you have any questions, just be in touch.